My name is Grace Davis, 5/7/2024.
Skin cancer refers to the abnormal growth of skin cells, usually as a result of unrepaired DNA damage due to exposure to ultraviolet, also known as UV radiation. There are several types of skin cancer, with the most common being basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma. In this experiment, we have a control, SPF 30 and SPF 50, and I will now spread the sunscreen on these squares. I have now applied SPF 30 and SPF 50 to the appropriate bags in an even layer in order to best ensure even coverage across the two bags. And in regards to measures that can be taken to avoid skin cancer, obviously wearing sunscreen is one of them. When you're outside, it's important to use SPF to protect yourself. You can also avoid long sun exposure if possible, and avoid tanning beds. Here are the results from the experiment after being exposed to UV light outside for approximately 5 minutes. This is after being exposed to the water and allowing to dry. From left to right, it's control, SPF 30, then SPF 50. The recorded UV index for today was 4 at this time, which is moderate. Now back to talking more about skin cancer and some of the risk factors associated with it. Obviously, exposure to UV radiation is something that increases the likelihood of developing skin cancer, especially for children. It can more than double the risk of developing skin cancer if they become sunburnt. So really try to avoid getting sunburnt by wearing sunscreen, protective clothing, or limiting your time outside. Other risk factors include having more fair skin, a history of sunburns, excessive UV exposure perhaps because of your job, family history of skin cancer, weakened immune system, exposure to certain chemicals, and having many moles or abnormal moles. The symptoms of skin cancer, I'm sure many have heard, is moles that have changes in size, shape, color, texture, or irregular borders, so that's something important to look for. They can also appear as a waxy bump for basal cell carcinoma, and then for squamous cell carcinoma, it may present as a firm red nodule or flat lesion with a scaly or crusty surface. So overall, wear your sunscreen. This was a very interesting experiment, and hopefully you learned something about how to protect yourself from skin cancer.